Manufactured dependency: how formula giants profit from shorter maternity leave. The investigation jointly conducted by The Guardian and Save the Children into formula milk marketing practices in the Philippines exposes something far more calculated than aggressive advertising. It reveals an industry whose profitability depends structurally on one outcome above all others: mothers not breastfeeding. And the most efficient mechanism for guaranteeing that outcome at scale is ensuring that working mothers run out of time to breastfeed before their babies run out of need for it. The investigation into formula milk marketing in the Philippines exposed an industry bribing doctors, infiltrating hospitals, and circumventing international law to push powdered milk onto the world's poorest mothers. But the most consequential strategy employed by formula giants operates not in Manila hospitals or Facebook groups. It operates in the corridors of Washington, where lobbyists have spent over a decade ensuring that American mothers run out of time to breastfeed before their babies stop needing breast milk. The Philippines story is the visible face of the formula industry's predatory model. The lobbying story is its invisible engine. The United States remains the only high-income nation without federally mandated paid maternity leave. The Family and Medical Leave Act offers 12 weeks of unpaid job-protected leave, covering just 56% of workers, and only 27% of private sector employees receive any paid family leave at all. This is not an accident of legislative priority. It is, in significant part, the documented outcome of sustained industry lobbying. Between 2007 and 2018, the six largest US formula manufacturers spent $184.2 million lobbying the government, targeting Congress, the FDA, the State Department, the White House, and the US Department of Agriculture. Abbott alone accounted for $43.8 million of the declared formula-related spending. The motive requires no speculation. Studies show 3 months of paid maternity leave boosts breastfeeding duration by 50%, aligning with WHO's 6-month recommendation. Yet only 25% of US infants are exclusively breastfed at 6 months. Longer leave means more breastfeeding. More breastfeeding means fewer formula purchases. The financial logic writes itself. The Lancet's landmark 2023 breastfeeding series made the lobbying connection explicit. Some commercial milk formula lobby groups have directly cautioned against improved parental leave, recognizing that the duration of paid maternity leave is correlated with breastfeeding prevalence and duration, and that the absence of adequate paid leave forces mothers back to work before breastfeeding is established. Formula manufacturers have simultaneously used gender politics to frame formula as a convenient and empowering solution for working mothers, while lobbying against the very federal paid leave programs that would give those working mothers a genuine choice. The cynicism of that double movement, blocking the policy that enables breastfeeding while marketing formula as liberation from the breastfeeding constraint that policy absence created, is a masterclass in manufactured dependency. The industry doing this lobbying is not a struggling niche market. The global infant formula market was valued at $87.75 billion in 2025 and is projected to grow at a compound annual rate of over 10% through 2034. The market is heavily consolidated around 4 corporations: Nestle, Danone, Abbott, and Mead Johnson, with Nestle holding more than 20% market share and the top 4 companies collectively controlling nearly 40% of global sales. Nestle's formula brands include Nan, Gerber Good Start, SC26, and Nestogen. The same Nestogen that a malnourished Filipino mother in Malabon was skipping meals to afford, feeding her infant half bottles 4 times a day, because the full cost consumed more than her entire food budget. The industry spends approximately $3 billion annually on marketing. Despite the WHO International Code adopted in 1981 prohibiting the majority of those marketing practices. The story connecting Manila's bribed midwives to Washington's blocked maternity leave legislation is the same story told at different latitudes. In the Philippines, the industry targets mothers directly, exploiting poverty and information gaps to substitute formula for breast milk. In environments where contaminated water and inadequate sterilization make that substitution genuinely dangerous. In the United States, it targets legislators, ensuring the structural conditions that make formula dependency inevitable persist at the policy level. The tactics are different. The objective is identical: keep mothers from breastfeeding, keep families buying formula, and keep a $90 billion industry growing at double digit rates on the back of manufactured need.